Okay. I want to thank all of you also for coming. I also want to thank the Academy and all of our wonderful speakers who so generously donated their time and expertise this past weekend to be here. It was very neat to meet some people personally that I've always read about and admired. So for me, that I kind of felt like I was a roadie for a bunch of rock stars, so I like that a lot. Excuse me for one moment. I have to hook this on the back of my belt so it doesn't fall. I'll keep going. I'm going to turn that off. Back. May I now? It's a lot easier to do this on somebody else than yourself. Anyway. Okay. I also want to thank Lisa Travis, who is out front helping us, and she is responsible for the wonderful beds that we had in our rooms for treatments. And if you're interested in those, we do have brochures, and you can also go back there and see them personally if you'd like. It's very comfortable. And I also want to thank, even though they are not here, all of our staff that is at home in Florida. There's a lot of work that goes in getting here, and there's a lot that they have to do when we're not here. So I'm very grateful to them. Today, this afternoon, most immediately, what I wanted to talk to you about was a little bit, we keep hearing the word recession, and we keep hearing spending, we keep hearing all these terms that are very scary, and I think everyone wants to blame everything on the market and what's going on. And while there's a lot of factors going on that do play into what's happening, I want to kind of go through that with you. I do have prior to being in this field, I was in the financial field, so I'm a little familiar with the banking industry and some of what's occurring. And I wanted to just kind of do a review of how that impacts what we're seeing. And some of it does have to do with what's going on in the economy, and some of it has to do with some different factors in aesthetic medicine itself. And some of it has to do with the way you may be operating your practice. So I kind of want to go through that very briefly. We could probably talk about it for forever and a day, just so you have an idea of maybe some ideas on where to look. And I want to give you some ideas that you can take home with you today that aren't really expensive to kind of grab onto some existing things that you may have already going for you in your practice. First thing, we'll just start with the bad news and finish with the good, okay? We hear the term economic recession. We are hearing it in this country. We are also hearing it globally. What do we mean by that term? Basically, an economic recession is a situation in which any country's gross domestic product, or what they produce in terms of revenue, sustains a negative growth factor for at least 2 consecutive quarters, which means it doesn't grow or it gets below what it was the prior quarter. Another definition is a situation where the growth rate is less than the average of 2%. Normal economic recessions last about 1 year. Okay, very simple. Well, what causes it? Everybody's like, who do we blame? Who do we blame? Is it you? Is it me? Is it the president? Is it the Congress? Is it the government? Is it the Federal Reserve? The answer to that is yes, it's everyone and anyone. Okay, there's a lot of factors that goes into that. Causes of economic recession are basically caused by actions taken to control money supply in the economy. And in this country, the Federal Reserve is the entity that does that. They're responsible for maintaining the delicate balance of the money supply, the interest rates, and inflation. I promise there's only a couple more slides that are boring like this, and then we'll get to some more fun stuff. Losing the balance of those 3 things causes the economy to spiral out of control. This year, the Feds, and when I say that I mean the Federal Reserve, did inject a lot of amount of money supply into the market to keep interest rates low. Interest rates were very, very low for a number of years, but the inflation, unfortunately, kept going up. So we're at a disbalance. Okay? This, coupled with relaxed policies and lending, made it very easy to borrow money. For the past about 8 to 10 years, the housing market, personally, in my opinion, has been absolutely out of control. I think we lent money to a lot of people who really didn't understand what owning a home meant. And then there were companies out there who did some ridiculous things like, by the way, you just bought a house, and now you can get a home equity loan for 125% of what your house is worth. And we're going to give you a mortgage with an adjustable rate. Because we're just going to be, it just reminds me of the story of the grasshopper and the ant. So we're just a grasshopper hopping around. And in 5 years, you'll be making more money, so when that rate goes up, you'll be fine to pay it. Well, that didn't happen. And by the way, costs went up around. So that's causing some of that. Recently, the oil prices have come down, but in the past 2 months before that, oil prices went up. When oil prices go up, food prices go up because we have to bring the food somehow to you. And that requires transportation, which requires gas, which requires money. There is a global inflation going on in the world, and there are a couple markets right now who are in recession, including Europe and Japan. China and India are having a significant slowdown in growth. And the substantial credit crisis led to bankruptcy, and we've heard of many of the large established investment banks that are having trouble right now, okay? Which then again led to increased unemployment. So that's the bad news. I didn't say it for you to get depressed. And really, with the stock market, it's the same story. And what people don't realize is the stock market is just legalized gambling. Just like gambling's legal here. It really is. And for many years, a lot of conservative financial advisors, if you've ever met with them, have always told you to diversify. Diversify, diversify. Don't just put everything in the stock market. Don't just put everything in a high-risk fund. But see, just like when you're gambling in Las Vegas, when you're a winner, everybody likes you and you keep thinking you can win. So you don't want to quit. You want to keep double down and you want to keep going. You want to keep going. And so everybody was happy to ride that wave as long as it was working in their favor. But the minute it didn't, everybody got mad. And it happens. You just have to think about it. Current right now, we're looking at a deteriorating housing market. We're looking at stock market issues. The energy is starting to come back into line, and it will continue to do so because that is one of the ways that the government will choose to fight to bring this back into balance. We've had a lot of devastating weather.